Couldn't even finish my breakfast the next morning. I felt like I was about to fight the final boss in a game played on hard mode. Mom noticed and decided to come with to support me. At the agency, I was asked to walk on a podium. Then they took my test photos and measurements. Everyone kept complimenting me, so I thought the hard part was over. But then, one of the agency employees came up to us and shook her head apologetically. "Melissa, you are talented and charismatic, but hey, what's with the dramatic pause?" "But what?" "But you are too fat for an ordinary model and too thin for a plus-size model. You need to either lose weight or gain weight." Wow, my dreams were crushed just like that. But Mom hugged me encouragingly and said that there is nothing wrong with being rejected. "You'll just have to eat more, and as soon as you gain some weight, we'll try again." Mom decided I had to eat double the amount of food I usually did. As soon as we left the agency, she got us donuts and 3 fillings. I was waiting for her at the car when I noticed a slender woman that was looking at me like I was painting in a museum. "Melissa, sweetie, you've grown so big." Do I know you?" The woman was about to say something when Mom came back with the donuts. She glared at the stranger and told me to get in the car. "Don't talk to that woman, sweetie." "But who is that? And how does she know me?" "Here are your donuts. Chew more, talk less." We drove off. I listened to my mom and got to chewing. I ate when I was in class. When I hung out with my friends, when I watched Private Diary, I even ate while brushing my teeth. I did everything to gain weight for the next audition. But the weird thing was, I started losing weight instead. At first I thought the scales were broken, but when my parents and brother stood on them, they worked correctly. Mom was very supportive and even hung a frame on the wall for a future magazine cover with me on it. I didn't want to disappoint her, so I didn't tell her about my problems and kept eating everything in sight. I felt like Pac-Man. Chom chom, yummy. Unfortunately, nothing worked. I kept losing weight and was so upset I lost appetite. One day I even fainted at school. While I was unconscious, I saw giant hamburgers chasing me. I quickly came to, but my teacher was worried and called my parents anyway. They immediately came and took me home. "Melissa, you're worrying me. You look like an eclair without filling. What's going on?" Do you ever feel like your mom is a human lie detector too? She would sometimes look at me and it was like a light bulb appeared above her. Beep beep, lies detected. I had no choice but to admit that I was losing weight. My parents were horrified. They thought I had been starving myself and fainted because of that, so I had a feast waiting for me at home. While I was gorging myself in the kitchen, my parents were anxiously whispering to each other in the hallway. At first I didn't think it was important, but then I overheard something that piqued my interest. "It's all Laura's fault. We ran into her by the modeling agency." Laura? Was she talking about the woman who called me by my first name? I wanted to ask my parents about her, but I was so full that I couldn't get up from the table. "Oh, roll me to my room, please." For dinner, Mom cooked her special steak the size of Texas. I couldn't even look at food anymore and pushed the plate away from me. My family stared at me like they wanted to ask, "Who are you and what did you do to our Melissa?" It's time for desperate measures. Mom handed me some appetite stimulants and told me to take those pills every day. I dreamed of a career as a plus-size model, so I didn't argue. To my parents' delight, I started gorging myself again, but my health kept getting worse. Maybe my appetite wasn't the problem after all. Still, I didn't want to upset Mom, so I didn't tell her anything. One day, I went shopping with my family. I felt a little dizzy and went to the bathroom to wash my face with cold water. However, as soon as I bent over the sink, the world went dark and I fainted again. When I woke up, I saw Laura's worried face above me. She was the one who found me. The woman was saying something, but my ears were buzzing and I couldn't make out the words. All of a sudden, Mom burst into the bathroom and chased Laura away from me. "It's you again? Stay away from Melissa." "Agnes, can't you see you're hurting your daughter?" I said, "Get out." Before she left, the woman managed to slip a piece of paper into my pocket. What the heck? When did my life turn into a spy movie? At home, I asked my parents who that mysterious stranger was, but they told me to stay in bed and not worry about anything until I got better. But I overheard them whispering about that woman again. The secrecy was starting to piss me off. I remembered the piece of paper in my pocket and unfolded it. There was a phone number written on it and I immediately called it. Laura answered. "This is Melissa. I want to know what's going on." "I'm glad you called. I'll explain everything. Let's meet." That can be arranged. The next day, I convinced my parents that I was feeling much better and wanted to go to school. As you might have guessed, I actually went to see Laura. Our talk changed my life. "I'm your mother's sister, so you can call me Aunt Laura." What? I couldn't believe it. Mom and Laura looked nothing alike. However, my aunt showed me family photos from when they were kids. Wow. Grandpa and Aunt Laura were skinny in all the photos, while Grandma and Mom were plump and cute like cotton candy. I've always been slim like our dad, but my sister took after our mother. Everyone in Mom's family was plump. Laura said that their parents had different ideas about the right way to raise their kids. They constantly argued and eventually divorced. My mom was mad at her father and sister and cut all ties with them. I'd been trying to rebuild our relationship for years, but it was useless. All I could do was look at the photos of my nephew and niece on social media. When I saw you, I realized that you took after your grandfather like me. You are genetically predisposed to being slim. Wait, had my parents been fattening me up because they wanted me to look like them? What was I, a Christmas turkey? I'd probably been fainting because of overeating. I thanked Laura for telling me the truth. When I came back home, I decided to try a simple experiment. I ate as much as I wanted and not a cookie more. My aunt had been right. I quickly started to lose weight, and the coolest thing was that now I felt healthy and cheerful. Naturally, I didn't tell my parents anything. I hid the food I didn't eat and then gave it to stray dogs. I also sneaked the medals Dad got for winning all the hot dog eating contests into my pockets to fool the scales and wore several sweaters so that no one would notice that my body was changing. It's so cold today, I think I'll put on another sweater. Are you kidding me? I'm melting from the heat, ugh. Things were fine for a while, but one day my mom came to pick me up from school without warning and brought me to the modeling agency. I think your measurements should be just right now. Oops, I suddenly got nervous. I couldn't let her find out the truth, so when we arrived, I asked Mom to wait for me in the hallway. Knock them dead, my marshmallow. I headed in and did just that. At first I was shaking with nerves like fruit jelly, but the judges seemed pleased, so I calmed down and felt more confident. A few minutes later, I went back to my mom with a representative of the agency. Well, how did it go? Great. Melissa just needs to lose a little more weight and we'll gladly sign a contract with her. Mom was stunned. She took a closer look at me and understood everything. I'd never seen her look so mad. She grabbed my hand and took me home. We had a family meeting and it was a complete disaster. My parents were shouting so loudly our neighbors probably thought it was an earthquake. How could you betray our family like that? I'm so disappointed in you, sister. We are all plump, but we were all so happy and successful. But you decided to be like everyone else. At some point, I finally lost it. Just because I'm different from you does not mean that I betrayed our family. You kept stuffing me with food even though it was making me sick. Mom, all you care about is how much everyone weighs. You even stopped talking to your own sister because of something that dumb. Mom wasn't expecting me to know about Laura and blew up. Dumb? Huh? Well, maybe you should live with your aunt since you two have so much in common. Maybe I will. I packed my things and stormed out of the house, slamming the door on the way out. I wandered around the city for a while to cool off and then called Laura. When I told her what happened, she comforted me and told me I could stay at her place. I met my aunt's family at her house. They were all pretty slim, not because they tortured themselves with diets or sports. They were just naturally thin, like me. Living there was a breath of fresh air. I didn't have to wonder if my weight was right. I just fit in. I was just being me. My friends and admirers loved me for my personality, so it didn't matter to them whether I was fat or thin. My family and the modeling agency were the only ones obsessing over that. So I decided to hell with beauty standards. I nailed all the auditions and kept enjoying my life. But one day, the agency called me and asked me why I hadn't been stopping by. They wanted me to lose more weight and then star in a popular clothing brand commercial. I will do it, but only if you stop telling me to lose more weight. I want to represent ordinary teenagers like me and my friends. They thought about it for a while, but eventually decided that it was a cool idea. After all, there were a lot of people I could help to feel more confident. I was over the moon. That evening, something unexpected happened. My parents and brother suddenly came over. They said they really missed me and wanted me to come back home. I'm sorry, Melissa. I shouldn't have told you to gain more weight or put your health at risk. I'm proud of what a strong and amazing person you are. And then she apologized to Laura for ignoring her for so many years. We were all different, but so what? We were still a family. They hugged each other, and then we had a lot of heartfelt conversations and played games. It became our new family tradition. I'm not crying. I just got the ending in my eye. Sam, how did your driving lesson go? Oh, it was nuts. Private Diary should make a video about that. Now that's intriguing. Would you like to see my brother's story? Tell us in the comments down below. And don't forget to press like. We love you guys!